Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Music Community Podcast. I am Random Girl Singing, one of your co-hosts, joined by Doc Bizzle and Dan Drumstone. And today we have an extra special guest, GSharpPianoBar. Greg, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
What's up, man?
Hey.
Today's a little weird.
Yeah, today is a little strange. For those of you who don't know, behind the scenes, we've been trying to work on making this a vodcast and streaming it. Today, internet's not cooperating in Dan's studio, so we're going to be back to audio podcast for this week, hopefully resolving those issues next week. Greg, thank you for sticking by us anyway. We're really excited to learn more about what you do, about your stream, how you got started in music, how you got started on Twitch. So yeah, welcome to the show, and tell us a little bit about your musical background to start us off.
All right. Yeah, well, I actually went to school for music since I was, I've been in choir all my life, and I got a associate's degree in music education. And then I've been playing piano since I was 10, so I'm 30 now. Yay.
Nice.
But I've been playing piano for about 20 years. All throughout high school, I was in different musicals, and I sang Tony in West Side Story, and
what?
I did. Yep,
dude.
I did Sound of Music when I was in 5th grade. I was in Fiddler on the Roof. I was the Tin Man in high school. So, and then after that, I did some competitions and all-state honors choir, and then I was in a vocal jazz group called Shades of Blue in college too. So.
Wow,
dude, that's so cool.
Yeah, you've been really active. That's. Are you known more for singing or playing piano, or both on your channel?
Mainly just piano. I don't sing as often because I'm out of practice. So I'm trying to find songs in my register. Of course, when I was in high school, I could sing so much higher. But no, it's mainly just piano, and then I try to work in some singing as much as I can, because I do enjoy to sing. It's just when I sing 2 songs, my voice is no thanks.
Yeah.
Aww.
So do you typically play requests? Do people come in and request songs they'd like to hear, or do you just sort of have a set list? How does that normally look on your channel for people that haven't had a chance to check you out yet?
Yeah, so what I normally do is I'll let people know if I'm doing requests or not. So I'll use the Rio Music Bot, which is awesome. So shout out to Rio.
Yeah.
But
he's a good dude.
Yeah, I'll use that for when I do requests, but I kind of just let people know what I'm doing. Lately, I've been working on original music, so I've just been saying no requests today. I'm just working on originals, just hang out. But I don't really have a set list. I mainly just listen and can play by ear, and then I play along, or I'll look up some chords online and play along to the song. So people will request a song. I'll never hear it before, and I'll play along with it as it's playing at the same time.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, is this what you've always done on Twitch? How did you get going into this weird little corner of streaming music?
So the funny thing is I actually was around Twitch at the same time as when Richie and 8-Bit Drummer and Lieutenant Chicken started in 2015. Yeah?
Oh, wow. OG.
And I was actually in a nerd rock band called Nerdigo with 2 of my friends. So I was with them, and they decided, my friend Brandon just said, hey, let's play on Twitch. I'm like, why? Isn't that for games? What are you talking about? And it was during the beta, and I was like, okay, I mean, I guess I just want to play piano. I don't care. So we started in his basement of his old house, and concrete down there, and it's not even finished.
The cellar.
So we started there, and then we started very slowly, and this is when Richie was just starting too, and she only had 1,000 followers at that point. She's like, hi, I'm Richie, and I just started, and you should come check out my stream and come hang out with us. And so Richie's known me for quite a while.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, the band kind of went their own separate ways. They got full-time jobs and didn't realize that we couldn't get together as much, so we kind of stopped. But all the equipment I use is from that, and I actually, now that I have all that stuff. It's nice. It was easier to start out because I had that experience from before.
Sure. Now, when did you start your own channel with music? Because you're fairly recent with that, aren't you?
Yeah, so I started back in March of 2017. So it'll be coming up on a year in about a month.
Nice.
So not too long ago, but I had some people that I knew when I first started, and I was like, "Hey, this is Greg from Nerdigo. Come say hi."
Greg from Nerdigo. So what do those guys think of how things have evolved and the different projects that you've been taking part of, and how you've become very integrated into this community?
Yeah.
Do they have any context of how big it's grown now?
I don't think so. No, they did actually join me for the one that Casper did, the charity event. So I had them on for the end of the event there.
That's awesome.
But they don't know how much it's changed, and I've tried to tell them, like, the music community has just grown crazy. I was like, if we would have kept going, you guys, I was like, I'd say this to them all the time. I was like, if we would have kept going as a band, I don't think there's still any nerd rock bands on Twitch, like, at all.
Yeah.
I was like, it's a niche market. It's for video games. I mean, we wrote songs about Minecraft. We wrote songs about a song called Notice Me Senpai. We wrote a song about Joker and Batman, stuff like that. So yeah, it'd be nice to be like, hey, come hang out. But
can we get a taste of the lyrics for Notice Me Senpai?
Oh man.
Please, just a phrase or two.
I know one of them is like they use an actual Japanese phrase like "oh my guy," which I think is like, I don't know. I'm the worst with lyrics, so I don't remember them.
Yeah, I hear you there, man.
Like, they could be like, what's the words to the song? I'm like, I don't know. It goes to an E flat. So,
so Greg, I wasn't able to be there for the stream, but heard about a really interesting thing that you were doing on Twitch.
Yes.
Where you were taking basically covers, original songs, not covers, original songs from other music streamers, and then sort of doing like a full stream. If I got that right? I was really interested when I heard about it, but I didn't get to see it. So could you tell us about your recent project?
Yeah, definitely. That you got it right. It was essentially a concert to go over original music for people. So I always had the idea when I first started to just play other people in the music community's music. And I was like, I think this is kind of a cool idea. And then I kind of put it in the back of my mind, like, I'll kind of work with it later. And as I went and got to know people and got to know their music, I was like, man, I'm requested other people's music all the time. Why am I not playing people that I know and talk to on a daily basis on Twitch, their music? I was like, and then I'm like, and I went from there to, why don't I make it like an actual concert where I perform, I have an intermission, then I do more songs after that, and then I just kind of learn all these people's music too.
So cool.
That is so cool. I've got to go watch. Hopefully you archived it, right?
Yeah, I did.
It's in the VOD. I can't wait. I need to go watch it, man. I think that is one of the coolest things about Twitch is not only our ability to connect with viewers around the world, but to do exactly what you just did, where other musicians and performers that you've been inspired by, for you to take their music, kind of make it your own and then perform it, not only honors everybody, and sort of pays some respect towards other performers, but is also really special, I think, to hear your arrangement or your interpretation, if you will, your performance of their music. That's just so cool, dude. That's really
interpretation.
Yes. I agree. I think honors is such a good word. Plus, I mean, if we want to go the other route, we could even just talk about the fact that it's not you asked everybody permission. So you got to go straight to the source for permissions in order to be able to play this content. If you want to promote this content, I mean, you stayed within the platform and you went straight to the source, straight to the writer, and you don't have to worry about copyright takedown or anything like that. Like, it's just incredibly smart and really, really cool. How did that stream go?
Well, it went pretty good. I had a lot of awesome people show up, a lot of other people from the community, but I meant to play along where you hear the track in the background, but for some reason my OBS glitched, so all you could actually hear was just my piano, and you couldn't hear the artist's music in the background. So it kind of sounded empty at times where it was just dead air and I wasn't playing, but that's because there was supposed to be track you hear. So and one of my main things was I did not want to talk in chat. I didn't even talk at all. Actually, when I was done with the song, I did the signing for sign language. I did the thank you from my chin down, saying thank you to people. And I had no idea that they couldn't hear the backing track. And there was still an average of about 35, 40 people there the whole time.
So cool.
Yeah, that's great.
So my next idea for the next one is to actually kind of do a mix of the both, where I'm going to introduce, like I'll play a little bit of the track and then I'll kind of do my own arrangement of it too.
That's really exciting. And like, just again, a really great idea. And I think we lost Dan. Did we lose Dan? He's back.
We did.
He's back.
back.
Dan the man. So
you'll just have to do a 2.0, Greg.
Yeah.
Just like redo it so we can hear what your original intent was too. Would be cool.
Well,
yeah, that was a dress
my
rehearsal.
Goal. I have a list that I put already that I want to get from people, and there's a lot. So some people don't know exactly who I am yet, I guess. I'm not sure. So I'd like to get all the Eaglesons, one of their songs, and MacArthur Lloyd, and those are just a few off the top of my head that I remember. But
no, that's pretty good stuff. And how did you put the request out? I remember seeing a tweet. Was it just through social media? Did you have to go to people directly, or did you just kind of put it out there and see who was interested in it?
Well, mainly I put the idea out there, and then I kind of messaged people individually, because I didn't want to start it and say, just start a concert and just play other people's music and be like, well, I played your music and I didn't ask you for permission first. So,
which is so awkward, because that's what most of us do anyway lately. Let's be real. Let's be real. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's true.
But I guess it'd be weirder if like somebody showed, like if Sheryl Crow just like was like, hi. You know, like that'd be a little weird. But I know what you mean, because there have been a couple original artists I've been tempted to cover, and you know, on Twitch, and I'm like, maybe I should like ask them, but it feels weird asking them. But I mean, the way you did it seemed to be pretty chill way. And I only ask because there's another individual who's an instrumentalist, Jingle Angle, and he is wanting to do the same thing, but he was like, he was feeling a little nervous about reaching out about that. He was like, I really don't want to give the impression I'm just trying to take something for nothing from people. Like, I don't want to come off like that. And I said, well, you know, G Sharp did something like this recently. I don't think it came off like that at all. Like, do you have any advice for folks who are trying to do something similar?
Well, the one thing I would say is just mainly message them individually, or I try not to tag everyone as much as possible, because I don't want like a constant, hey, I'm here, listen to what I'm saying. But I'll just put like one generic message and say, hey, this is my idea. If you're okay with this, like this message or comment, and I'll message you individually to try and get tracks and let you know what song I'm interested in. So as long as they say, yeah, that's fine, or yeah, it's okay, then I'll go from that point and I'll talk to them individually and say, hey, this is the song I have. This is what I'm thinking. So the main thing with a lot of these, with this concert, is I took almost 2 weeks to learn all these songs. It was 16 different songs fully through. Typically when I do a request, I'm just doing maybe a snippet of it, maybe 20 to 30 seconds. But most of these songs were like 4 to 5 minutes. And then I had to sit there and listen to each individual song and write down the chords and have them on an actual Word document and play from those too. So that's
a lot of work.
Yeah, it was a lot of work.
I'm feeling more and more bad that I missed it.
No, don't.
Like, the longer we talk.
Can you guys hear me? Am I actually here right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
You are here, Dan.
Before I cut out again, I just wanted to say that I got to watch it, and the way you presented it was beautiful, because it was like you're on a stage, and you know, it was like going to a piano recital. and my boys, we set up, we like put a sheet out on the floor and dump out Legos everywhere, and they just build Legos. And it was great because we watched you, and it was really cool to hear other people's songs in the way that you presented it, you know, because it was like, oh, I know that song, and your arrangements and just the way that you pieced everything together, I thought was a really good representation of what, you know, the song was. And it was really cool. It was very just well thought out, well presented. And you're doing another one, correct? Soon?
Yeah, I'm hoping to do one next month. So
that's awesome.
And it's going to be, I'm trying to limit it to 20 songs. So
all new ones now, or are you going to use some of the same ones you did last time?
No, it'll be 20 brand new ones.
Oh my gosh.
But how cool is that though, that you have, you know, 20 originals from like that. That is so cool though, you know, like original music from artists here on Twitch.
Yeah, I have a lot, and I try to, that's why I try to meet everybody. And it's almost like Cheers, like everybody knows my name, not really, but I just I'm like, hey, but yeah, there's a lot of original music out there on Twitch, and everybody has one. Sometimes you have to try and weed it out of them because they're not impressed with it. They just don't like what they do. Yeah.
Now, Greg, you're gonna have to forgive me because I intended to have this list up here, but Google Docs is not working. Can you kind of run down some of the artists that you showcased on your stream with their original music?
Let's see if I can remember them off the top of my head. I had Christy Cates, Mary Amber. I did Dom Dude 64. I did Wax Wayne, Susan, Resurrection Fern. I also did Richie, and then I did. Those are all the ones I remember off the top of my head. Oh, I did Mike TV Live.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That is so cool, dude.
And then there's more.
I just wanted to say thanks for the amount of time that went into something that you did, you know, because to learn a song from someone else, but then the arrangements that you came up with were brilliant. It was really, really, really cool. And I highly recommend everyone go back and watch or definitely make time for the next one because it was really special. It was really cool.
Oh,
do it.
Random Girls.
Do it right now.
Random Girl Singing. I did hers too.
Yeah, you did one of mine. And I thought it was the day before it actually was. And I was all on high alert to watch it. And then it was the next day. Right over. But I seriously, like, I have to say, like, as being one of the chosen ones for that first, that first recital, it really did... It provided this boost of confidence and encouragement where it was like, hey, you know, and Dan gives me a little bit of crap because sometimes I use the term real musician. I mean, not me crap, but he kind of jokes about it, you know, like real musician or whatever. But, you know, you're somebody who's studied music, you know, classically trained, that kind of a thing. Just to have that sort of a booster and encouragement, like, hey, a real, air quote, real musician, you know, felt that it was decent enough was interested enough to play my music, you know, that I have to say, dude, it felt really good. And also that cross promotion that it provides. I bet the shout outs in your stream that day were going nuts, you know, and you had communities from, I guess there's probably a lot of people that are also subs to a lot of the same people or watch the same channels. It must have been a really nice gathering where people just celebrated.
Yeah, it was cool to see reactions.
So just cool stuff.
It was, yeah. There was a lot of people from a lot of the different communities, and the main thing I wanted to do was each time a new artist came up, I actually had their own personalized command. So you would just type in ! RGS, and then it would say, this is an original song by a random girl singing. This is where you can find her music. Follow her here and go to her Patreon and support her there.
That's so cool.
And then I did that for each individual person.
Yes.
So you could actually go to their place of music, and that's all it really was, is I want to honor their music as well as play some of my own music, because as much as I love playing other people's music, it's really fun to play your own music, and you just have more of a connection to it. So I recommend everyone, just even if it's just a little tiny melody, you can make any song out of like a one bar anything.
That's really good advice. So you do write your own original content then?
Yeah, I performed 4 of my own originals as well.
That's really cool. Are you doing anything with your music outside of Twitch these days?
At the moment, no. My goal since I think I was 10 was to make my own music CD. so that's my goal, is to do that. So other than that, I do try to promote myself to do weddings. I did a few last year. I might have a couple this year, but other than that, not really. I really just want to get my own CD out there where people can actually hear how I compose and how I do things, because I do have a structure to how I compose my music.
Yeah, that's really cool. Have you ever kind of like walked people through that? I know there's a lot of people on Twitch, a lot of musicians who they're getting comfortable with singing. They're getting comfortable with playing. You know, they're getting comfortable with putting themselves out there in this kind of a setting. But writing for some people is just that one step into unknown too far. Do you know what I mean? Like for some people, it's just, you know, and maybe they just have a perception that it has to be something personal or deep for it to be good. Maybe they hold themselves to really high standards. But do you have any advice for the aspiring writers out there?
Well, I know for me, I do have some advice. I know for me, the best time to play music is honestly at the worst time possible in your life, where you have so many different things going on. Like you have to run to the store. Inspiration can just hit you out of nowhere, where you're like, oh man, I got to go to the doctor's office, but I want to write this sweet song because I just got a good inspiration for it. So sometimes you have that good inspiration, or a lot of my music has been when times in my life have been really dark. So I'll go sit down at the piano. I'll even sometimes turn the lights off and just feel how I'm feeling and trying to express that and just play and not really have anything set to do at that point. But for me, honestly, when I try to compose a song or when I try to do something new, I'll play like a chord progression and kind of base it off of that. And I'll start playing a little bit of a melody, and then I'll kind of go from there and then kind of piece it together in little sections. I'll almost do it like a song. So if you're ever afraid to compose anything, just write it down. Just write ideas. The best thing I would say is, if you have inspiration, even if it's just a melody in your head, hit record on your phone, sing it, and say, this is what I want to do for later, because I've wrote so many different things by piecing it together over weeks and weeks of just messing with it, and then I come together and make an idea.
That's really good advice.
Yeah. Capture your moments of inspiration. And almost every phone now has a voice recorder, so learn how to use that puppy. You know what I'm saying? I know there are apps and stuff too that you can use to develop your musical ideas that have little drum beats built into it, or, you know, little chord progressions or whatever that you can even incorporate if you want, to kind of help develop your song idea. But that's great advice, I think. And I don't write as often as I should, but I do. I've got probably 20 little clips of things when I'm driving in my car that are moments of inspiration that I recorded that I need to go back and cultivate like that. So that's awesome. It's good advice.
And that's a tough thing too, is you spend so much of your time on camera, like on stream. And for me personally, it's very difficult to write like that, because if somebody actually saw what goes into making a song, they'd see me like, you know, sometimes I write lyrics down and then try them. Mostly I'm freestyling over the same riff over and over again and sounding really dumb, trying bunch of vocal things and a bunch of stupid rhymes and lyrics and messing up a lot before I get to that product. And honestly, I don't think people would enjoy watching that. Maybe somebody out there would, but I think that's the tough part is, you know, it takes a lot of creative energy and social energy to stream. And then on top of that, throw in creating content off stream. That's just like, it's so much to do. And working a job. You work a job too, don't you, Greg?
Yeah, I work 40-hour week. I work 6 a.m. to 2:30 Monday through Friday. So
goodness.
You're not busy at all.
Yeah. And then I have my 5-year-old almost as well, where I have time with him. So
that's awesome. Congratulations. That's really awesome. I mean, it's a lot to balance. How do you keep things in perspective for yourself personally?
Well, the main thing is I just try and I had the idea of now with Twitch and getting everything situated where you got to think of yourself first. And that's the most important thing is I used to put Twitch first, and I would stay up late and not worry about going to bed at a good time and then be super tired the next day. But I mean, I realistically, if I'm waking up at 5 a.m, I can't really be playing online till 10, 11 at night when I'm only going to get a few hours of sleep. But I kind of just work out my schedule where I'll just take a couple hours, I'll feed my son some food, go play Twitch for a little bit, and then I'll kind of go from there. But it's tough. It's not the easiest thing to balance, but I've kind of found a rhythm with things.
Nice.
So what are your plans like for this year, Greg? Are you thinking about maybe trying to make it to TwitchCon this year? Is that on the radar, or some things like that, like with regards to Twitch? What are some things you got coming that you'd feel free sharing?
Well, TwitchCon just me is a pipe dream. I'd love to go to TwitchCon. It would just be awesome. I'd love to meet everybody and talk to everybody. That concert that everyone was at Trevor's house, it was so cool just to watch. And that's the one thing is you guys were there at the concert, and a lot of the guests that you've had on were at the concert. As someone that watched it, I was just as excited. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
You couldn't believe seeing all those people there, and the chat was going crazy. And oh man, it's just really exciting just to see everyone in one room together. And even the retreat, it was just my favorite part, which you've already mentioned, is that everybody at the retreat, just when the song was done, there was a sound of applause. That was the best.
That's so cool.
That to me was the best part of it. I know there were so many good things, but just to hear the excitement that people had, and when Tea Leaf broke microphones, everyone had to clap louder and every other thing. But no, that's why I'd love to go to TwitchCon. It's just that for me personally, I'm actually getting married in August. So
congratulations!
Thanks. So any extra money I have would be going to that, and
honeymoon at TwitchCon.
Yeah, honeymoon at TwitchCon. What else? What would your lady like more than that? You know, take her to the expo floor, buy her a $20 hot dog. It'll be great.
Yeah,
it'll be fantastic. That is really exciting, though. I can imagine it gets sort of tough. As you know, you're talking about losing sleep and how you used to put Twitch a little bit ahead of your own health, it sounds like. Mm-hmm. And been there, done that. It's especially tough when, I'm sure, Doc, you've probably been in the same place. I know because you're ambitious. It's tough when you see the view count going up, or at like a particular hour it's going up, or you there's this need, there's this motto where it's like, always be streaming. You know what I mean? Where it's like people call it the grind or whatever. I can imagine with all of these different things going on, it's just really tough. And then having to negotiate that with personal goals and then Twitch related goals. It can be a lot. I'm in awe of how Dan and Doc, are able to manage it too, because, I'm home with the kids and there's a lot to do that there, but it's pretty flexible in my household. Doc, I really am in awe of you. How do you do it all? You actually have like a schedule.
Yeah.
Like you actually are like, I'm going to show up at this time and you get there. How long did it take you to get into a good rhythm? And do you find yourself still needing to hold back sometimes?
Yeah, it's easy to get out of balance, especially when things are going good. When I was trying to make a push for partnership, especially, I saw different times stats going up and like, okay, got to maximize that, anytime I would get a really big raid from like a completely new streamer that I knew their community was totally new. If I picked up like 50, 60, 80 followers, from one giant raid, immediately the next day, it was like, I have to stream tomorrow because there's all these new people that just followed me. that I'm going to be fresh in their mind. So now I can get some organic views, hopefully, that won't show up as a RAID view, for the stats. Like there was just all of that gave me just that pressure to like, I've got to show up and do this because I need to maximize the strengths, and stuff like that. So there have been times when the balance has been really hard. I'm fortunate enough. I do work like 2 other jobs, but I'm primarily working for myself with both of those jobs. So I can work my schedule around, okay, when is going to be the best time for me to stream and when's the best time for me to do other things. If I have clients that absolutely have to have a meeting on one of the days that I'm normally going to be streaming, then I just change my stream schedule. I just have to do it and be flexible that week. But it's tough to be, when you say, how do you do it? I don't know how I'm doing it. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that guy in the circus that's like spinning the plates on the on the poles, and like, you got to go back and forth. And if you don't get back to one, it's going to wobble off and hit the ground,
I know. But I like totally feel you. One of my sergeant's major, he said, shooting the wolf closest to the sled. He's like, just got to shoot the wolf closest to the sled. And I'm like, that's what I feel like I'm doing, is just popping him off, like it's just so I stay alive.
Yeah.
Greg, what does your fiance think of all this craziness? Does she get it? Does she like it?
Yeah, she actually joined me on stream last night, actually.
What?
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I've been trying to get her to come along and sing a little bit, but she's kind of the supporter where I've heard talk about, you have all the different kinds of supporters. Will there be, I know, Steph, with you said your husband is kind of more in the, like, do your own thing approach. That's how she is too. She does her own thing. I do my own thing. And she's very supportive of what I'm doing. And anytime where I'm like, hey, I got to go stream, she's like, go stream. Or there'll be times where I'm just so tired and she'll just be like, what are you doing on the couch? Go downstairs and play piano right now.
Oh, that is some real support right there.
So like, she's like, I felt like you haven't streamed for a while. It's been like 3 or 4 days. You should really go downstairs and start streaming. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, I really don't want to. So, and then I'll start streaming, and then like people will show up and it'll be a fun time. And I'm like, well, that was fun. I should have done that.
That's like a built-in like motivation right there. I mean, that's just really cool. And I totally know what you mean about her. It's like, I don't really feel like it. And then, like you say, people will show up and then watch at the end of a few hours, you'll have had the time of your life. But it is hard to get past that. It's hard to get past that feeling. And so to have somebody there to be like, to hold you accountable and to believe in you and what you're doing, and not just view it as, I mean, I can't imagine what some partners, girlfriends, spouses, whoever, I can't imagine what some people must think about it. Like they must just, you're going to leave to do what? But that sounds really, really cool.
It's fun. My wife, if we do have a day off or something, like that's not in my normal streaming rotation or something, like a Saturday or something, she'll say, oh, we're not doing anything today. You can go in and stream. And it's like, I could, but I kind of want to stay home with you guys. Do you not like me?
Try to get you out of the house.
So that's actually really cool, man. That's awesome.
So Greg, are you, with the big wedding coming up, are you writing a song for your wedding by any chance?
Oh,
well, nah, not really.
So she doesn't listen.
He
to
does
this.
now, Doc. Jeez.
Right.
We can edit this out.
Well, no. The thing is that I had she claimed a song that I wrote as her own. And so if you actually look on my YouTube, it's up as original song, Caitlin's song, because my fiance's name's Caitlin.
Gotcha.
But I just recently, before the community concert I did, I was like, I don't know how to name my songs. All my songs are, hey, this is another one I wrote in C#. Cool. So I think I have 2 or 3 songs titled, and I have one named Gemini because she has that's her sign. She's a Gemini. She has a tattoo. I was like, what do you think of the name Gemini? She's like, I love it. That's a great impression of her, by the way. But
I bet she'll appreciate
Wait,
that.
all your songs aren't in the key of G sharp? This is interesting.
No.
Yeah. What is the G sharp?
Okay, so that's the funny thing about my name is my name is a combination from two of my best friends into one name together. So I messaged them both. I was like, "Hey, I'm trying to come up with a new name for Twitch. What are you thinking?" And my friend Brian was like, "Well, why not like Greg's Music?" I'm like, "No, that's super boring." Or why not like GM Music, because my last name starts with an M. And I was like, well, I don't know. And then he goes, G Sharp. I was like, yeah, G Sharp's pretty cool. I don't know. G Sharp's kind of weird, because what if people think my last name's Sharp? And then that'd be kind of awkward. I was like, I want piano to be in there. So he came up with G Sharp. And then I talked to my other friend, Brandon, who was actually in Nerdigo. And I was like, what do you think my name should be? I was like, I kind of want to, play music, play people's requests. He's like, well, why don't you kind of do it like a piano bar where people can go to your stream and you play all kinds of music. You have a cool green screen background and change the background and all this other stuff. I was like, yeah, that's good. And so I just put them together. GSharpPianoBar.
That's awesome.
That works.
Bam. Not Greg's Music.
No.
Is that one taken?
Probably. I know that what's interesting is that there's a drummer, Mr. Greggles,
Yes.
on Twitch, and on Twitch as well. All the people when I was in Nerdigo called me Greggles, so it was really confusing. I'm like, what? So I think that's kind of cool.
Awesome.
To see
That is really cool. Yeah, that's pretty darn awesome. So I'm just curious. There's a little bit of hubbub on Twitch today. Have you guys had a chance to peruse the updated guidelines?
Yeah.
Do we want to talk
I
about that?
watched it yesterday. The presentation thing. I'd love to talk about it because I think it's a big deal, and that they're taking that sort of stuff serious.
Well, we should give an overview first about, I guess, what it is. Boom, boom, boom. Who can succinctly describe what the announcement was?
It's basically they're going to enforce pretty much any negative or bullying or harassment a lot more on Twitch, and kind of, really review content when it gets reported and see if it, meets the terms of approval on their end. I think they're really taking what's on their platform serious, and they want to enforce a good, healthy, safe environment. And
no, I read that. I definitely read all that rhetoric in their blog post, but I didn't see specifically anything that's truly being changed, I guess. To me, it seemed a lot more like the emphasis was on what streamers can't do. And there was less responsibility for policing viewers and viewer harassment and things like that. Like, for instance, Mixer, they're a different platform owned by Microsoft. They have very specific guidelines of what viewers can and cannot say to streamers on their platform. Can't call people cam girls. You can't use terms like that. And they take that very seriously. Twitch, on the other hand, I don't know if I actually believe they're making changes, because they're talking about sexually aggressive content and eliminating sexually aggressive content, but it's also subjective, and it's the same kind of stuff that they've been having to deal with for years. So what makes this different is what I want to know.
What they're going to do is, as far as like moderation tools go, they're updating like their auto mods. So there's like a lot more customization to not just putting in bad words. You can, it's going to give moderators in your channel more power to report and enforce stuff. I'm not exactly sure the dates of I was going to have it all pulled up, but I don't.
It's okay. We know you're working with technical difficulties.
Yeah, like the sexual side of it is, if something gets reported or whatnot, they are going to actually review the channels. And they said, if someone's doing an IRL stream at the beach and they're, in a swimsuit, they're obviously not going to ban somebody, But if they look at the channel itself and the content might be in, the purpose of the content is in a sexual manner, then that's what they're going to be kind of reviewing.
It's just very dicey because a lot of this stuff is like extremely subjective in terms of like, where's the actual guidelines for what I cannot wear, and what people find to be sexual is very different for everybody too. So I wonder when it really comes down to it, how much of a difference it's going to make. To me, it's more like I don't want to be like extremely biased or be too hard on them, but to me, it's just more these folks can't control themselves. So you as the broadcaster needs to adhere to some very vague terms. It's more ambiguity to me.
Well,
I don't know.
As far as like the dress code, they said, basically if you can wear it out in public, you're good, so they're not going to be, I don't think, really like cracking down on that in that sense. But I think their point is to say like, what is the purpose of the channel and what are people doing with it when they're on it? As far as like, what people say in chat, they are, definitely going to give us more options to deal with it and report people. And I think they're going to be like perma-banning people on the same IP address, not just like different usernames. So I think they're making some steps in some cool directions as far as like putting their foot down. But and they even said yesterday on stream, they said this is not going to be perfect and it might never be perfect, but they're really wanting to take it serious and they're taking people's feedback. And I think they're really trying to filter out the negativity as much as they can, Yeah.
Yep. How it plays out, I think, obviously, because some things are subjective, we can all stand back and go, well, they're not going to carry this out the way I think they should or the way I think they said they were going to. The fact that they're addressing it from the perspective not of we want to go police people more heavily, but they're coming from the perspective of we want to provide a positive environment. So we're taking steps to try to do that. That's what I'm hearing from it that actually encourages me. They're not coming in saying, all right, we're going to tighten up the ship.
Yeah.
They're saying, hey, you know what? We've heard enough people complaining about persistent trolling and bullying, and we've heard enough of these things that we want to try to take action on it. I think that's a very good, to me, that's a very good thing that they're trying to respond to it. They're trying to address some of the community guidelines that were already there and say we're going to take these ones more seriously, and then a couple of things I think that they may have added that were different regarding overtly sexual content and things like that. I know I got a survey, it's been probably 2-3 months ago now, from Amazon/Twitch. It came sort of from both, regarding trolling and bullying, and have I experienced any of that stuff on Twitch? Have I seen it? It was a really lengthy survey that gave me an opportunity to address sort of some of the persistent trolls that I've seen. Not just your typical person that comes and says you're a dummy, and then leaves the channel, but people that literally are nagging you, creating multiple accounts to come and nag at you. And it was for me to first of all be asked by Twitch about that was a plus. Okay, they care, they care. But then now for them to be addressing it lets me know not only do they care, they're taking it seriously enough to try to come up with a plan of action. So I hope, like I know you guys do, obviously, that it doesn't get out of balance into the peripheral subjective areas of, oh, well, that girl's shirt was cut a little low, so we're going to report her and take action. I really gotta say, I don't think they would go that far. There may be some viewers that wish they would take it that far, and those viewers need to get over themselves as well. But for them to say, you know what, but there are a handful maybe that are out there that they're trying to show off. That's all they're doing. It's, give me 100 bits and I'll do jumping jacks in my bikini in front of you kind of stuff. It's
and they mentioned that. Okay. They mentioned that on the stream yesterday, is that, they're going to look at the intent of the channel and what's the purpose of it. And then camera angles and where, stuff is being shown. I think that they're just trying to put a warning out there for illegitimate stuff on Twitch. But I think overall, the main purpose of the announcement yesterday was about the IRL category. And they specifically said that they wanted to have another stream about just IRL and what is okay in there, because I think it grew so fast and there's such a diverse content in there, and there is no guidelines per se now, that they really do need to put something up there.
I mean, the only guidelines they have, they're turning a blind eye to anyway. Technically, we shouldn't be performing music in IRL. If we adhered to the IRL guidelines, we would be performing it in the category where it's most appropriately categorized. But
correct. Yeah.
Musicians are seeing 40,000 viewers in IRL, and that's where they're choosing to go because, hey, I want a chance at more exposure. And I can't blame them for it. But the reason that this stuff grates at me is because this blog announcement that I read, they did bring up a couple of points that I do appreciate. I'm just always skeptical when it comes to this stuff. But like, I do appreciate, what did they say about anti-harassment? I do appreciate that it says we will now consider verifiable hateful or harassing conduct that takes place off Twitch when making moderation decisions for actions that occur on Twitch. If you use other services to direct hate or harassment towards someone on Twitch, we'll consider it a violation of Twitch's policies. I think that's a really terrific move because there is a lot of harassment that occurs off Twitch.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So that's definitely a good move. But the rest of that blog, they made it about sex. They're making sex taboo again. People are just going to skirt it the way that Twitch has tried this for years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't keep boobs out of League of Legends. It didn't keep boobs off of creative. Boobs are there. They're around. So to some extent, people just need to...
They're around.
They're around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't make that one a t-shirt. No.
Yeah, boobs. They're around. I don't know. To me, it just, some people do like to dress the way they like to dress. They feel good and they don't, some people are just flirty. Some people, that's just who they are. And I understand that, like, and then the retroactive enforcement too. They're enforcing retroactively.
I don't, it's not so much like you said, people can totally wear what they want to wear. But they said, they're going to look at like the intent of the channel. Like they're not just going to ban somebody because of what they're wearing. They're going to say, body painting. They brought that up and they said, that's totally fine. That's art. It's great. The intent of the channel is body painting. If someone's doing that in a different way, for money, to say like, well, I'll start erasing the body paint if you give me 500 bits, like that's what they're going to be looking at.
But what if I really am just doing squats for subs? What if I really just am doing squats for subs?
I want to see that.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, if a guy is doing it and he's just not considered sexy to the audience, but he's wearing, you know what I mean? Will a woman be treated differently? It'll just be I always say about this stuff, it'll just be interesting. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it will be. Well, anybody, sexy or not, can either wear sweatpants or they can wear skin tight little tiny shorts that show every crevice of your body. Anybody can. And whether you're sexy or not, I don't want to see either. I don't want to say, you know what I'm saying?
It's so subjective.
You're just doing squats. Put some sweatpants on to do your squats. I don't need to see your crack sweating. You know what I mean? Just okay. We could edit that out.
No, please don't. Well, thank you for all the clarification about that, Dan. I definitely wanted to bring it up and see what people thought because all of the buzz in my chat today was about the boobs. Everybody wanted to talk, and it's like, get over it, please.
Yeah. I think I just think they're like they said, they're never going to get it right, but they want to try. I think they're really looking to put a nip like in the butt of like the harassment in chat. Like I think they're going to give broadcasters a lot more options and mods to just like an actual permaban, from like an IP address, not just a username. If someone's doing something bad and you can report it and, they're going to see, the evidence and anything in that regard, I think is very good, because whether it's about sex or race or anything like that, that shouldn't be in chat at all. And I don't know. I think broadcasters are going to be held to different standards too.
I was just going to say, it seems like it's more holding the casters to that, to those, guidelines more. These seem to be more broadcaster guidelines versus viewer guidelines.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're just like, we don't want to deal with policing the viewers. At the same time, Twitch is notoriously slow to responding to reports when people are being harassed. When there have been users among the creative community that have harassed people, gotten banned, gotten around that ban, gotten a new account, continued to harass people, been reported, by several people, and nothing happens. That stuff happens all the time. So the fact that they spend their energy dealing with, okay, broadcasters, this is your do's and don'ts, versus, there's got to be, I feel like there's got to be some way to help resolve it on the other side, because like Tim the Tap Man, he's joking with his viewers. Oh, now because of the anti-harassment policies, I can't call you guys a bunch of idiots anymore. You guys can sit here and come and call me fat and stupid, but I can't, joke around back with you.
See, I don't think it says that anywhere in the guidelines. I think for somebody to take what is written and to make that narrative and use the influence they have to say it on camera that's what's being communicated, that's reckless on his part. Be balanced, be an adult, read it and say what it says, man. Don't make up your own narrative and then scare everybody into thinking that that's what's about to happen. Nobody said that's what's about to happen.
Yeah.
You don't get to assume it and then say it like it's golden truth to your viewers. Get over yourself and be an adult about it. That's what I say.
I hear you.
Tim or anybody else, read it as an adult, not as a whiny little brat who thinks their toy's going to get taken away.
Oh, snap. No, that makes sense, but it also does make me wonder, because I give trolls a lot of crap sometimes. Sometimes I give them a lot. I love that
though when you do though.
I do too. It feels good, man. But am I a harasser now? Am I?
I didn't think of it that way.
I more think of it as you defending yourself. I mean, if someone comes to your house and then just looks at you and says, "I think you're awful," what are you just gonna sit there and go, "Thank you, that's cool"? I mean, like, you got to look at that too and say, I mean. And me personally, that's what I always do too. If people just say, "Well, you don't play piano very well," I don't think I've maybe had that happen once. I'm like, "Well, that's cool. That's your opinion. But if you don't want to be here, then you can just go."
I think they would just prefer, and I think a lot of channels run this way. I think a lot of people just prefer not, just time it out, don't look at it, don't address it at all. I think is what most people do.
Mm-hmm. I'm super ban happy. Like, even if I don't even give people a chance.
Oh, me too.
Like, if someone comes in and, I don't know, if they say something not so much mean, but just kind of like, they don't even say hi, but then they're like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I don't even want to hear what this person has to say. It's like, if you meet someone on the street that isn't courteous or nice, I don't want that in my chat at all. I don't even deal with the timeouts. I just, no. Yeah. If they really want to be in chat, they'll like message me and say, "Hey, sorry, I was a jerk," and then I'll totally unban them. But
do they do that very often? I've
had that a couple times. Yeah, where they say, "Oh, I didn't mean it like that. I'm sorry. It's a really cool stream," and I'm all about saying, "Okay, yeah, cool. Just the first time you come into my chat, don't say like, like, drums are stupid." Yeah. Like, I'm totally gonna ban you.
Any number of things. Doc, you're usually pretty great about that stuff too. Do you talk to them these days, or now that the channel's gotten bigger, do you more just like nix it?
Oh, like people who are it depends. It really depends on what I'm doing at the moment, what's going on in chat, the context of what it is they're saying. Because sometimes I will joke. I mean, I had a guy, I have a camera that shows my hands on the keyboard, and I'm in the middle of playing a song, and this person said, "I can't stand to look at your hands," is what they said. And so when I finished the song, I mean, it's so ludicrously stupid. It's like, then don't look at my hands, So when I got done with the song, I mean, I laughed it off. I was like, thank you for the whatever. Have a great day. I didn't ban them. There was no need to ban them. It was just like, whatever. Now, if somebody, at this point, it's only if somebody gets belligerently disrespectful, then my mods already even know, like if they're just coming in to be combative or something in chat, like we just don't have time for it because we're trying to have a good time. We're not trying to have an argument with some idiot,
Yeah.
Exactly.
So they'll get timed out or banned or whatever. But some of the silly, what was it? One person, I don't agree. While I don't agree with your choice of facial hair, I love the sound I'm hearing.
Oh my
or something like that. And for that person, I was like, I don't know if there's a language barrier or if you're just really weird, but thank you for the compliment on what you're hearing. And I'm sorry, I'll shave next time. I just kind of tried to make a joke. So that kind of stuff doesn't like get my blood boiling. It really is just a belligerent disrespect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If somebody comes in, I try to keep my chat family friendly as well. And so if somebody comes in and they're just, like rampant, dropping the F-bomb in chat over and over. If somebody does it one time, we're just like, hey, could you please,
Yeah.
And if they keep doing it and then we ban them and then they send me a whisper going, really? With a big question mark, like, yeah, really. We asked you not to. And then we said, hey, please don't do that again. And then we said, stop it. And then we timed you out. And then you came back and did it. Yes, really. You just completely tried to skate around everything that we asked you to do here. So
they're lawyers. Trolls are like the most excellent lawyers. And like the soft trolling is such an art form these days. Like, after I let hard trolling kind of go on for a while. I still do sometimes, but like, after we started being more strict, now we get the soft troll. He's in it for the long haul. He's going to be there 4 hours, annoying the heck out of you. In very high context, irritating ways that would make you look like a psycho if you banned or timed the person out.
Yeah.
Here's a message for you guys. I will ban you after the stream.
I know I know the type of person like that. I had someone that was like on the cusp of saying goodbye to for a long time, even in Discord. He was just what an awkward person. And
they're trying to make you uncomfortable.
Just like, I don't really know what you're saying right now. I don't know why someone tried to ask for his like, where do you live? I'm like, why do you want to know that? That's super weird.
Yeah.
Like, I live in a house in it's
in
cool.
State.
Yeah.
My first month or 6 weeks streaming, there was a guy who came in who was real complimentary, seemed to enjoy being there. I think he was a younger guy based on the type of humor and stuff. But there was a particular day where he just got really kind of edgy with me about some stuff, and then later was like, "I'm sorry," and I was like, "It's cool, man. Just come back and hang out next time." And he came back the next time I streamed, and it was the same guy, but he changed the number at the end of his name. To like he had a different account. And so I asked him the next day, I said, hey, so why did you change your name? Did you get banned somewhere or something? And he's like, no, I just, well, he did that like 2 or 3 times in a row. Like every time he'd come in, he had a new number behind his name. He's like, hey, it's me, and he would always request the same song, and he would request it over and over and over, even though I told him I'm not going to play that song. Yeah. And so it got to the point where I whispered him, I said, listen, please stop changing your name and coming into my channel, because now this is a thing where I don't trust you. For all I know, you've gotten banned with those other names or something, and now you're coming in. I said, and it causes me to have a hard time. I tried to be real respectful. I was just like, this is causing me to feel uncomfortable with you coming in my channel. Man, I promise, I swear, Doc, I won't ever do it again. This is my final username, blah, blah, blah. The very next day came in with another username. So at that point, I'm like,
so dumb.
It is dumb, but it's so under your skin annoying.
I know.
So
that's what they want.
I banned every single account, went and reported all the accounts. I was like, this person is doing this multiple thing. And then the next day they showed up with a name that was not similar, and waited till halfway through the stream with me being really nice to him, and then being nice and then saying, could you play blah, 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 with a bunch of question marks and a kappa. And I'm like, if I could find you right now, you little human, we would have an unpleasant time together,
The fact that you even had to take that time out of your day to do that is just like, it's just ridiculous. And I really commend people who are who handle trolls well. You know, because we're all gonna encounter it. I really commend people who use trolls as like a teaching opportunity for, tolerance and kindness and just patience. And, whether that's because they know that they don't have the patience or tolerance, so they just get rid of them before it bugs them, or whether they flip the situation around and troll the troll. Like, I really enjoy seeing it. I feel like Twitch just wouldn't be Twitch without stupid trolling.
Yeah. I don't even give him a chance. If I even get a hint of like, because when someone comes in chat, if the first time your interaction with them is, hey, what's going on? Like, to me, all right, you're a good person so far. We're on good terms. But if your first thing in is like, oh, I could play this song better. Like, I don't want to hear that. Just, like, I don't even want to give them a chance to say something else, So,
yeah.
I love that ban button. And I know my mods love it too. I'm like, yeah, just go for it. Because I want to keep that energy in chat, because if chat stays good and they're not combative against it.
Yeah.
Because chat sometimes turns too on that, and they're like, "Ugh."
Yeah, that's the thing.
It'll change the mood.
And they're defending you, and now everybody is like arguing, and then it's just
and this is
which is really what the troll wanted to begin with, a bunch of attention.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So if that happens to me, I'm just I nip it in the butt and just try to keep things going the way they go. But
I think one of my biggest peeves, since we're just sharing frustrating stories on Twitch, is when somebody, a new person, happens to find me through the browse menu, through a host, whatever. They come in my channel, and I'm playing Billy Joel, She's Got a Way About Her, right? I'm playing love songs, right? Love ballads. And the very first thing they say in my chat is Slayer.
Yeah.
Megadeth.
I love people like that.
Michael Jackson.
They make me laugh so hard.
Well, I do laugh. I do laugh it off, and I respond if they say, Blue Tuesday. I'm like, Red Wednesday. Like, I'll say something back, but at the same time, I'm like, how do you not realize? Listen up, viewers, Twitch viewers. Do you not realize how incredibly random and disconnected that is to just blatantly throw out some name of a band? Like, I want, hey dude who plays piano and sings love ballads, can you play some death metal for me?
Well, Doc, you're expecting them to get out of the context of their own brain for that moment. That's just expecting too much from...
Yeah. I expect that they actually see what's going on here. It's kind of like going to a pizza joint and ordering lobster, and not even saying...
Not even waiting for the waiter to come.
Exactly. Not even
lobster!
saying... Yeah, exactly. Lobster! What?
Shout
Come
out!
on, guys. Come on, guys.
That's awesome. I have commands set up. Like, sometimes people's first thing in chat is like, hey, can you play this song? Can you play this song? Can you play, like the some of the more modern drummer songs.
Yeah.
And we have commands that say like, yes, I could play this, like that my mods will type in with like some funny emotes, and they're like, oh, okay. Like, just like, because you'd be surprised, like, hey, can you play Toxicity by System of a Down? Like the people that try to one up you or try to catch you off.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, we just have commands because it's like the same songs or same artists get asked.
That's really
every
smart.
time.
For me, I get like, hey, can you play Flight of the Bumblebee or like all these fancy piano songs? Since for me, I have like Rio set up. People can they just come in and just do exclamation point, and then they put their YouTube link. They don't even say hi. They just throw up their YouTube link. First time I ever see their name. That's what drives me crazy. And I've actually gotten like a little bit mad at chat for people. I mean, they're constantly saying, play this, and I'm in the middle of doing it, and I'm like, you guys, just hold on a second. And then people are like, one guy's like, well, it's like you can't even talk to me. I was like, well, that's not the thing. I was like, you're acting like a toddler. You're acting like my 3-year-old. Papa. Yeah. It's like, what?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Githalion has this really cool thing, or he did on his page for a while. that said, "The loudest in the room is the first to be ignored." And
Yes.
I actually really, I love that because, if someone's in chat saying, like you said, when are you going to play my song? Oh, my song is in a few, right? You're going to play my song? It's like, I'm not going to respond to that,
No, yeah.
So
It is funny to navigate this because what we do is very different than I think how most streams are run. Because, if somebody's like, I'm going to play a game, there's no like, tip me $5 and I'll do this in the game. I mean, maybe there is. That's not the streams I enjoy if those exist. I'm just there to enjoy the experience of watching this person do whatever it is they're doing. And I'm just supporting just because. But there's been this precedent sort of set, just because we really appreciate, as musicians, I think we really appreciate having such a cool venue.
Oh, yeah.
We do
totally.
appreciate the support. So, I mean, obviously I have nothing against song requests.
Yeah.
But it is tough. I logged off early one day a while back because I did have somebody tipping me a lot of money with song request after song request after song request.
Yeah.
And a lot of them I didn't know. And it just made me anxious and uncomfortable after a while.
Yeah.
To have one person running my playlist. And, I'm like, that's never has been the precedent of my channel anyway. And then,
that's
songs
true.
that I don't know too. And it's just sort of like, but at the same time, you want to say thank you, and maybe that's just what I have to do is just get better at saying, hey, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If people do that in my chat with like multiple paid song bumps, I always try to say, all right, we'll do you another one. We're going to do some other ones in between. And I try to still make it not the stream just about that one person sometimes. And they usually understand, that, I don't want the stream to become a so-and-so's playlist, just because they can, or, they want that.
Yeah. If they want to come back every single time you stream and tip $300 or $400, that's different. But if they're only showing up today and they want to dominate the whole chat, no matter how generous that is, that turns off your other viewers at some point. And they're the ones that are going to come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
man. Well, that's why I always wanted like a loyalty system. I wanted to do more of a loyalty system. The problem I'm running into is that people are so used to the command !SR. They're used to Riobot. It's the gold standard now when it comes to requesting songs. So even though I have a loyalty point system set up and I have !request, you can cash in some points for a song, nobody uses it.
Yeah.
Nobody will use it. I'll turn on Riobot anyway, and I'll just keep both of the windows open because everybody is like, well, whatever, she'll play something I like. I don't need to, you know what I mean? Like, it's really bizarre.
Yeah.
How do you guys encourage, keeping it fresh, doing new things, and doing stuff you're comfortable with? Like, how do you guys personally strike a balance with that?
Yeah.
I'm just winging it.
What I do is usually the first hour of my stream, I go by the order of people, like who submitted what. I try to reward like the people who are right in the stream as soon as I hit start stream. It's so cool. I love that feeling of seeing my friends just are right there, right at the beginning. So I want to acknowledge that and just say that's my thank you, is to give them, priority. And then after an hour, I switched to just a shuffle mode. So one of the people in my chat actually developed an attachment, I guess you could say, for Nightbot. So it shuffles the Nightbot playlist. It gives me like a shuffle button
Cool.
in Nightbot. And
Don't you have like an old grandma singing the songs too?
yeah,
Isn't that something you have?
Yeah, he programmed it so when you hit shuffle, it announces who's next, and you could change the pitch and the speed. So yeah, we call her Drunk Grandma.
But next song is
It's awesome.
GSharpPianoBar.
I was like, what?
How have
What's
I
that?
never heard that before?
Yeah, so that kind of makes it, and for me too, because if someone comes into the stream, 2 hours in and there's 30 songs in there, they're like, well, this sucks. Like, there's no way that my song is going to get played if I stay in just the order that came in.
Yeah.
And then I do bumps, and if you're a sub, you get one bump a month. So, I mean, people use that if they're in a rush or whatever, they want to bump theirs up. But other than that, it's pretty kind of everybody has a chance at some point in the stream. And
Yeah.
That is a really good idea.
I know for me personally, the way I do it is I kind of do, as Doc said, I kind of just wing it, but I try to do some requests that people do, and I try to do some of my own things. That's the one thing is that I still want to do things I want to do. That was one of the first things when I started is I was just a request stream, and I was sitting there playing song after song of people wanted, and I didn't play any of my own music. And I was like, yeah, I mean, people probably don't want to hear any of my own stuff anyway. It's not that good. And so I just played and played and played. And I was like, maybe I should play some of my own music. And then I started to, and then people enjoyed it. I was like,
awesome.
what, and that's the thing that I think, I don't know if it was on another podcast or I was just in Steph's stream, but she said that she's looking at the statistics, and one of the times she noticed when she did her original music and she went back and looked at it, she saw her like viewers spiked. So that's good. I mean, that's the one thing that I try to do is like when I'm playing, I try to make it fun for everybody. And I have a thing where my subs kind of get unlimited requests, and I have my green screen where I let people change my background every 20 minutes if they want.
Oh,
so as long as it's not like, profanity or anything, then they can change it. So that's
this is all very cool stuff, because it's like you guys are all describing different ways that you figure out a way to make your stream more engaging with viewers.
Yeah.
Which is always so important. And as musicians, we have sort of this like unique challenge in that I guess some gamers have this challenge too, but like when you're dedicating like 4 or 5 minutes to playing one song, you can't talk to the chat usually. You know what I mean? If you're in the moment, really in the zone, you're not talking to the chat. You might be playing something emotionally charged. You know what I mean? And music's very personal.
For sure.
And then it becomes the you show because you're the performer. So anything that can help guide your show and include your viewers as part of it. Like, these are just great ideas, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
I used to be, it's just really been recently that I've kind of gotten into a little bit more relaxed state with this, but I used to be like terrified that if I didn't get to the songs quick enough so that everybody who requested got their thing, that people would leave.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just this. It's just like, okay, I've got to be singing a song all the time, and because it's what I do best. And if I'm, whatever, blah, 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 like just this, I gotta go. I gotta get through everything, and I gotta keep them in order.
Can't talk.
Can't talk, that kind of stuff. And even with the song list, with the order, it's like, well, gosh, I've got this new person that just followed today, and they requested a song. But all of my regulars that I want to give this loyalty connection to, there's like 12 songs in the list in front of that person's. I finally got to the point where I'm doing what I feel like doing. The song request list is there as a suggested song list for me now.
Good for you.
That's
Good
good.
for you.
That's
A
really good.
VIP, like somebody that just subbed or brought a raid, like that's going to the top.
Yeah.
That's just common courtesy, a way to say thank you.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, if I look at the list and I go, hey, I really would like to do this song, because the one thing viewers aren't thinking of when they're thinking of one song they want to hear is what's going to flow well together.
Yeah.
It's awkward to go from a really sappy spiritual song to a chat scat to something funky, and then to a love song, and then back to something funky. And so sometimes I'll look at the things and go, what, I'm going to do these two together and bump this one. And hey, here's a new viewer. You know what? So-and-so, thank you for your follow today. I'm actually going to go ahead and do your song right now.
Yeah,
so it's like,
cool.
man, I've just finally, it's so much more freeing. Just, it's a suggested song list.
Or
That's smart.
or to a Slayer song, right? Right, Doc?
Exactly.
Thank you for listening to Stand By Me. And now I'm going to do
Rain
Barbie
of Blood
Girl.
by Slayer.
I know what
Yeah,
your
I
request
had to
next
do
time.
that too. Yes, I do too. Slayer. Next time we raid Doc.
Totally.
Slayer
Slayer or
notice
Riot.
me. No, but that's a really good point, Doc. I had to adopt a model like that pretty early on too, because I have multiple instruments. I have, I keep 2 different acoustic guitars in different tunings. I have a ukulele, I have a keyboard, the looper and stuff. shoot, man, I can't just be like, okay, now we're going to grab this guitar, tune this one up. Okay, now we're going to grab this. So if I see I've got like a chunk of them that are all in the same tuning or that might kind of go together, I'll be like, all right, we're going to do this. And then we'll come back to this. If anybody's in a rush and has to go back to work soon, whatever, like, let me know. We'll try to move you up there. But I'm with you, Greg. I just got to a point where you just can't do what other people want all the time. Even though it's great to have the company, it's not like rewarding for you.
And at the end of the day, the loyal viewers who just want to be with you, they are going to come back anyway because they want to hang out. They're not going to get so disappointed over that one request being declined that they're going to be like, well, I'm never coming back here. And if they are,
Bye.
You probably don't want that brat in your chat anyway.
Yeah. Like what music streamers and streamers in general, for viewers, we're dealing with, scenes in OBS and reading chat and notifications, and there's a lot going on during a stream, and then to perform and to focus on that too. I always have so much props for music streamers and streamers in general, just the amount that they juggle at one time but still put on a show. I think that's really cool for everything that goes on, during a stream at any given minute.
Yeah, for you especially, like playing the drums, do you actually read chat while you're playing? Because I know if it was me and I'm doing 4 different things with my feet and my hands and reading chat, do you actually try not to read chat? Is that something you guys try to do when you're really, really trying not to read chat, but you see it's going fast, and then you're just like, I really want to look at it. I really want to check it out, but I know I shouldn't.
If it's a song that I'm just, how sometimes you start a performance and you just get lost in it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't read chat then. And then I'll snap out of it and be like, oh yeah, I'm streaming. This is so, okay. Yeah. Oh, hi guys. That song was so good. I really enjoyed that. So fun fact, if I'm not enjoying the song that I'm playing, you'll see me reading and responding to chat.
You go on autopilot.
You're just on autopilot, Dan.
Yeah.
Dan, your autopilot is just really good. I gotta say, that's a pretty
thanks.
good autopilut for sure. Yeah, honestly, I can tell when a singer is reading chat.
Yeah,
I can tell. I see you. Yeah. I see you there. I'm not fully engaged.
Yeah,
I see you, and when I try to read chat and sing at the same time, that's when I mess words up. And like sometimes I'll accidentally like sing a word somebody typed,
awesome.
And I'm like, why am I looking at this? I need to stop looking. But it's weird to essentially black out from your channel for, a few minutes and come back and have to catch up.
But I think that's really special though when that happens. And I think it's cool for the viewer too, because that's you going into that performance state, because I've played shows and concerts when I get off stage and I don't know what just happened. It's all just a blur. And that euphoric kind of mental state that you go in, if you can get to that point on stream, that just means you're comfortable and you're really enjoying the performance. I think that's a good thing. I think that's cool.
Yeah, I agree. It can be a little weird. It's a whole strange animal because, especially, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but for me, when I stream earlier times, my chat is a lot less active because people are usually lurking or working or whatever. Nighttime chats. Like I showed up for a nighttime chat. I'm like, what is this emote spam? I haven't seen this in like a year. What is this? Is so nice and encouraging.
Yeah.
It is always very strange. You like pour your heart and soul into something. You'll be like, wow, I didn't even mess up. Like not even once.
Yeah.
And then like you look up and nobody said anything. And it's like, there's 100 and something of you here. I know, they're talking about food.
Yeah. Oh, they're
Gotta go to lunch, guys.
They're having their own conversation. That's something that I try and do too. I'll be in the middle of a performance and they're having a conversation. I'm like, hey, I'm playing here.
But hey, you're the piano bar.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. See, that's
Greg's music.
But it is
Greg's music. Hey, rebrand.
It is.
This is Greg's music.
Everyone changed their name too many times. Leland has like 7, so I don't know. Love you,
Shout
Leland.
out, yeah.
Yeah, shout out, Leland.
But I actually I love when my chat kind of has their own thing going on.
yeah.
You know, because that I know that they come to the channel hopefully because they like me as a person. The longer you stream, the longer you stream, you know, the people in your chat get close and they know each other's stories and they say, hey, how did that thing, how'd you make out? Or I love that. You know, it's like having,
It's called community.
yeah, it's like having like a community
You're
get
their
together.
cheers, or you're their place they go where everybody knows their name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing that you can provide that venue
Yeah.
to people.
Yeah. And so I love to see that. That always makes me smile. But
Well, speaking of that, did you guys the other day, for the first time, I also just want to give another shout out to all the mods out there, just throughout all the communities. You'll see a mod that's, I mean, like we already talked about Leland, he's modded in like 20 different people's channel.
Oh, it's like 40.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
It's like
See?
insane.
Look at that. And then I see all kinds of, I go to other streams and their mods come to my stream, and then all of a sudden their mods will start gift subbing to them. And I'm like, what's going on? You guys, all these mods are gift subbing other mods. So, but Astrobot actually streamed the other day for the first time randomly. And I didn't know if you guys knew that or not. But yeah, Astrobot 314 randomly went live this past weekend. And Riao was randomly chosen as a mod. And everyone from the music community just flooded into this chat. And nothing was even happening. It was just a blank screen with like a little bit of drawn something on there, and everyone's just talking to each other, and just everyone flooded in.
that is cool.
And that to me was just a really cool thing, is just everyone saying hi, everyone talking to each other. And that's the one thing that when you guys are doing these really cool performances at the retreat and at last year at TwitchCon is I know that a lot of people try to jump in the chat, but being in the chat is still an experience as well. So
Yeah.
as someone that's not actually there, that's why it's so cool to have these events and just to have this community. And I feel like, as you guys said, we have grown as a community, and whether you don't feel like you're part of it, that's one thing that sometimes maybe someone felt like that, but
Yeah.
I feel like we're all coming together and we're getting recognized. And I mean, Doc was highlighted.
Get in here. The water's fine. It's like get on in here. We're not just growing in numbers. I think there's a growth that's happening internally with the people that are here, connecting, whether it's through an event or the podcast or things like that. Like there's a strength that's happening in the music community, and it takes time to spin that out to get a complete balance. I mean, but I think we all want it. I think we all want the same thing.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so incredibly pure, because it really is a connection that's centered around our love for music, and that music feels good, and that making music feels good. And I feel this very warm, embracing kind of a thing, whether somebody's a brand new musician who's never studied music before but just is really getting into it, or someone who's been playing for decades. I see the same level of acceptance, and I see the same level of encouragement, and when I go into other people's channels, as soon as somebody finds out somebody's a musician, there's a lot of follow backs, there's a lot of what do you do, I've never see this like, don't self-promote. I never see people doing that kind of stuff in these channels. Usually everybody's like, oh, you too? You play music too?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good stuff.
And just to stream music, I think one of the things that connects us too is we have a desire to perform and to connect with people. And I think just musicians in general, we like being around each other because we experience the same kind of, let's say, stage fright, or, we second guess ourselves, are we a good player in that? Everybody goes through that, but all these things that we have in common, I think, really bring us together, and the support that each other or I should say the support that we're giving each other is huge, I think, and it means a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not like performing arts school.
No.
Because for performing arts school, for me, it was a lot of, it was like a battle of the egos. It was a battle of who's going to get stage time and who gets to go last during performance night. And, you know, it was a lot of fighting for limited resources and time and connections and stage time, you know. Man, versus this is like, we all have our own stage and we're just sort of like helping bolster each other's.
Yeah. I see courage when I see music, you know, people doing music, and I really respect that. You know, it takes a lot of courage to start stream and then perform. So to anybody that's doing that, I think that's kind of what I'm getting at is, you know, like we all acknowledge that, you know, that courage, and we respect that. And I think that's one of the things that really ties us all together is that we have the same, you know, the same admiration for each other. And that's cool.
Yeah. Stephanie, you made a statement either last week or the week before, and I've heard the quote before, but you put it in context of sort of the bond and the encouragement that seems to be happening amongst the music community on Twitch. You said, you know, a rising tide raises all ships. Right. That was such a perfect, I was like, oh man, that's the perfect quote for what I think is happening. And I want to say too, that there may not be a lot of detail. In fact, there's no detail that I really could talk about today, but I feel like there's going to be opportunity really soon for the music community to rally.
Yeah.
Like we haven't done before. Like the music retreat, I think was a huge thing. And I think that's a step to other things that we're going to continue to be able to do to rally together, to push that tide, to pour into the tide so that all the ships, you know what I'm saying, can come up.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, the water's fine. Like get in. It's great. Jump in, be a part of the community that's here. If you feel like you're not welcome, I want to tell you, right now, you are welcome. We want to connect with everybody and encourage everybody, but we got to know you're there and know you're available too.
Yeah, that's the tough thing. I have heard this before, folks, that there's a perception, I think, that they're less than, or they're not viewed as you know, positively as others. And a lot of the time, it really is our own anxiety sometimes that makes us feel like outsiders. And a lot of the times it really is just our own self-perception. And, you know, 2 years ago, that was me thinking that too. And, you know, now those folks that I thought that about embraced me, you know, and all I had to do was just keep showing up and saying hello, you know, and contributing what I could to what was already a small community. Yeah. And if you just show up and bring your best intentions with, you know, if you just show up and bring good intentions to co-create with people and to support them, I don't see why a person wouldn't be welcome or why a person wouldn't be viewed favorably. I feel like it sometimes just is about having that courage to say hi and keep putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I have some insight on a little bit of that with, for me personally, when you first get started, you'll see the music channel, and I follow as many people as I can because I want to, I say this on my chat all the time, is I want to go to the biggest stream possible, and I want to go to a stream when there's only 2 people in it, and I'm going to be as positive I can to everyone as I can.
Yep.
And it's really hard to go into a new stream and just kind of get familiar with things, and it takes a long time. Like I still constantly try to go to as many as I can, and I'll be in a brand new music stream. I'll just say hello. I'll try to spam some emotes, and they won't really know who I am, but it just takes time for them to know you. And there's also this other thing as well for me is these bigger streamers where they have a lot of the views, where you guys have actually, I just want to thank you all just for this podcast in general, because this insight that I have where you've helped me think things through a lot with just not worrying about my view count and just not worrying about how things are going and just kind of doing my own thing.
Nice.
But as someone that's, you know, I mean, I consider myself a medium streamer or a little bit smaller of a streamer. I look up to these bigger streamers, so I kind of look up to all you guys. And when you kind of get that recognition from one of those bigger streamers, it's just like, that means the world to me personally. So I can only imagine what it means to someone else as well who's just getting started. And Doc's like, guys, go check out this person. And Doc said that everyone flooded to this person's room.
Yeah,
and
I saw that.
That to me is just awesome that you guys do that. And it's really cool to see as well.
Yep.
It is awesome, beautiful.
Thank you, man. That means a lot. That's cool. It
is really cool because that precedent was set that way. You know, when I came into the community, a couple streams, you know, they started a little bit before I did, and they're actually going to be on the podcast soon. Yeah. Which is really, we're so excited. Unfortunately, I won't be here. Yeah. I'm going to be out due to some medical stuff, but it's going to be really, please folks, tweet us some questions that you'd like us to ask them, or make sure that you make a mental note. It's going to be next Friday. Yep. But that was one of the precedents that they set straight off the bat, like them and Marcus Alexander and some of the other more established streamers were immediately like giving shout outs, coming by to visit the channel and just say hi, you know? And when I didn't have a lot of viewers, like, and even to this day, when there's folks that pop by, even if they're not like a larger streamer, but I understand that their musicianship is on like a very special level to me. Yeah. And they're still taking the time to like come and support my music. Yep. Like that means an incredible G-Sharp. You were in my stream earlier today. That I told you this earlier, but that means a lot. Musicians supporting other musicians, especially ones that have skill sets that have been, you know, more developed and that I have respect for. Like, it's just a good thing, you know. It's just musicians supporting other musicians. It's just a good thing.
Big streamer or, you know, smaller streamer,
growing streamer.
Yeah, it's like the book. Everybody poops, and you know, everybody's been there, you know. So
man,
that was a quick jump to that one.
Yeah.
Right to the poop show.
I love that. That was perfect.
The water's great, we promise.
Because we all poop in it.
Yeah, we're fine.
It's true though. I mean, deep down we're all the same, and if anybody can help anybody, it's a testament to the community and the bond that we all have. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Greg, I want to thank you for taking the time. You probably wouldn't tell anybody else this, but it meant a lot to me to hear that you shifted your work schedule around even to make today happen. I want to thank you for doing that, and make sure that we give you an opportunity to spell it out, because this one is just in radio form. But make sure to let everybody know, where can we find you on social media and on Twitch.
Okay, so. And yes, by the way, I also want to say thank you guys before I say that for having me on. It's just when Dan first messaged me, the first thing I said was, oh my God, lots of hearts. And then I was like, oh, okay, on to business stuff. But
got to play hooky at work so I can do this.
Yeah,
awesome.
So. But you can find me at GSharp. So if you look at your piano and go to the note GSharp or GSharp PianoBar, so all together one word, on Twitch, and then mainly on Twitter. I'm very active on Twitter on GSharpPianoBar as well. So those are the main places you can find me. I kind of have a YouTube, but
nice.
I'm
What's
working
that?
on it. Yeah.
What is
YouTube? Changed everything. I don't even know. It's just a bunch of numbers and letters.
I mean, what's YouTube? I never heard of it.
So search for GSharpPianoBar on YouTube, and you can find his channel then.
But other than that, usually you can also, I also have my Discord too, which everyone has their Discords too, so I have that as well. So you can check on my channel and follow me there too.
Nice.
Awesome. Man, it's been great getting to know you better, hearing some of your story, and just hanging out with you. I look forward to hanging out with you and chatting again sometime soon. Yeah. Thanks so much, man.
Yeah, thank you.
One last thing, though. I want to remind people, February 15th at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when 88-Bit Music is going to have his front page time and unveil the song and the video that he hired the orchestra and everything. I just really want everybody in the music community to be there and support him, because Twitch is stepping up again and really helping promote this. And
yeah,
I really want to see everybody there. Yeah, because that's a big deal, and we're very proud of him.
We are proud of him.
He created an event for that on Twitch. If you go to twitch.tv/88bit music, if you go to his Twitch channel and look in events, you can actually click to get notified. So it'll send you a notification like 30 minutes before he's going to go live.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you don't have to miss the beginning of that stream. So you utilize that event. That's a tip I would throw out as well to new streamers or anybody doing a relaunch or a redesign on their channel. Use that event function and promote it on Twitter and promote it with your chatters, because we can click that get notified. And even if our normal notifications are turned off, we'll get a notification that your event's about to start, so we don't have to miss it.
That is awesome.
Yeah. It's going to be pretty cool. And I would love to see 200 music streamers in the chat just throwing up hearts, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
It's going to be an exciting week ahead. You get to see the unveiling of the theme song, and then the next day you get to hear that interview.
And we'll miss you,
and hopefully
Steph.
stream it.
We'll miss
I'll miss you guys too. Well, you're going to have two guests to interview, so I'm sure, and you're going to have so much to talk about with Travis and Allie.
Yeah.
She's an incredible writer. He's just a great musician, and his tech knowledge he's always helping the community out with technical troubleshooting questions and figuring out the audio setups. I mean, those two have done so much. It's going to be really cool to hear about their process of getting in the studio, how they, them writing together, working together. You guys are in for a blast. I'm excited.
It'll be cool.
I'm excited.
We will miss you. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in, and I'm assuming we're probably going to have a song from GSharpPianoBar coming up right after this. But this has been the Music Community Podcast. Find us on Twitter. Send us your questions in general or questions for our guests that are going to be here next week, a couple streams. Otherwise, you guys have a fantastic week, and we'll catch up with you later.